And the best partnerships that I see in the business between two active individuals growing a real estate business are deal finders paired with capital raisers.
Welcome to the Multifamily Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Axel Ragnarsson, and on this show, I dissect how seasoned multifamily investors started, built, and scaled their businesses.
What's going on, everybody? In this video, I want to talk about who you should and shouldn't partner with and how you should actually think about establishing partnerships with other investors or other individuals that you may want to start a business with or buy a piece of real estate with or start a real estate business with. And I'm going to simplify the decision-making process as it relates to finding a partner or working with a partner into one very simple question that you can ask yourself when evaluating a potential partnership. And that is, can I hire somebody to do the work that this individual is going to do in the open marketplace? And I'm going to share a couple of examples of what I actually mean by that, but it's a really important lens to think about partnerships through. And the reason is that it's very easy to partner with other people when you, either on a specific real estate deal or in your real estate business because of a few reasons. One, it's convenient, and you don't really want to do it alone. So you kind of, you got a buddy from college or you have this person you work with and you're like, yeah, let's try and do this. And there's not really any thought put around it, but you do it because you either started talking about this with somebody else, this being buying a piece of real estate or starting a real estate business, or you just have someone that you've done other stuff with. So you decide to do, this venture with them. But when you really boil it down, it's because you like the idea of working with somebody else, don't really want to do it alone, and you kind of like the companionship. That's why a lot of people partner with other folks. Like that's the reasoning why, and there's no other thought process around it. The other thing is you've thought about it a little bit further and you have somebody in mind, a potential partner, who brings some complementary skills to the table. So you decide to work with them, right? Maybe you like finding deals and they like managing properties, so you partner. However, in this situation, we're going back to that first question that I said you need to ask yourself, which is you've now partnered with someone who you could just hire as a vendor, right? And that's a much significantly less expensive roadmap to go down, is to just hire someone instead of giving up equity and giving up upside in a deal or your business to somebody to do the same type of work. And what we want to do is, one, obviously we want to get past the first situation, which is if we're going to partner with people, they need to have complementary skills to ourselves. Okay, sounds good. We have found somebody that does have complementary skills, but we need to establish, are their skills hireable? Can I hire someone to do what they're doing? Or are they truly bringing special sauce to the table here that cannot be hired? And therefore, we've actually established a productive partnership, both as it relates to how we're spending our time and then also monetarily. So let's talk about some examples of people. And some of you guys might be listening and thinking, I'm this person in my partnership. That's okay. You just might need to think about how to bring extra value to your partnership so that you don't create dissension. Or you're thinking, maybe I am this person in terms of how I pitch myself to potential partners. Again, thinking about this holistically and being able to think about exactly how you can expand your skill set so that you become a great partner, become a little less replaceable, is going to be important. But the first thing is, so many investors, especially in multifamily, hire with people who are just going to do the property management, right? And that is a very vague way to describe it. But let's say you have partner A, partner B. Partner A is great at finding deals. They want to be on the deal finding side and they want to go and help to either raise the money or find the debt. And then when they close, they have a partner again, and maybe they found this person from their past or work, or they met them at a real estate meetup and they're like, hey, I'm good at property management. I like property management. So they're like, all right, I'll go find the deals. You manage them, 50-50 partnership. Well, partner A is more valuable in this situation. Being able to find really compelling deals and work them through the financing process and the capital raise process are more invaluable skills than property management, because property management is easily outsourced, right? Assuming you're not in some podunk town in the middle of absolutely nowhere where there's no management companies, you can hire a property management company and manage the property management company. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to partner with someone and give them equity to do so unless you are, unless there's some other reasons to do so, right? Unless you, for some reason, want absolutely nothing to do with the management side, there's no third-party options. You understand you're probably giving up too much of the upside in this deal or in your business, and you're fine with it, right? You've you've mentally confirmed that and you've mentally accepted that. So that's a possibility. But in general, that's easily outsourced, right? So if you are the partner in the situation who's providing the management services, how do you become less replaceable? Well, we go one step above in the chain, right? Above property management is asset management, which is managing the property manager and making other key decisions, such as deciding what upgrades to include in the business plan, deciding how to approach the tenant situation, deciding when to sell or refinance, when it makes sense to do that. Helping to manage construction at a higher level, something along those lines, right? And now you're not just doing the leasing and the maintenance calls, but you're actually owning that process at a higher level, and you're really owning that part of the business. Well, now that starts to demand some equity, and that's a little bit more of a value additive skill set that you're bringing to a partnership. That's one example. Another example is somebody who's going to manage the construction. Same situation, right? Let's use a house flip for now, right? But it could apply to multifamily as well. Hey, I'll go find the deal. You manage the construction. We'll sell it. So this is a tricky one to decipher because there's all kinds of there's so much work on this spectrum. But if you're being hired to just kind of be a GC and all you're really doing is managing some subs, well, theoretically, the person finding the deal and doing all of that should be able to go hire the GC to run the job. Now, do GCs require oversight? Yes, they do. But that's less time consuming than actually being the GC. So in general, what you're doing if you are, if you're securing equity as the guy who's going to be, just going out there and managing all the subs, again, you could be easily replaced by hiring an individual who's going to do that on your behalf, which is the entire point of a general contractor, for example. So while it's still a very valuable part of the investing process, it's not necessarily worthy of a 50-50 partnership, for example, right? Should you, maybe there's some percentage of equity that adequately compensates you, and that's a discussion you could have. But in general, it's easily replaceable from a hiring standpoint. Now, a different example of that would be investor A is finding deals, putting them together, raising money, getting them closed. And then his partner, partner B or whatever, actually owns a construction company. They have infrastructure. They have, crew on staff on payroll, and they're actually doing the construction work at cost or some discounted rate, or they're charging full freight, but they can send 8 of their guys to go bang out this renovation in 3 weeks instead of 6 if you were to go hire a GC or something like that. And there's upside from a cost standpoint above and beyond that. But fundamentally speaking, that is their business, and they have complete and utter ownership over that. They're bringing a different level to it than just being the guy who's I'm going to go coordinate with the painter and the flooring company and, the guy who's doing the kitchens and the baths or what have you. Those are two different value propositions in terms of what they're actually bringing to the partnership itself. Another example is bookkeeping and accounting. Oh, my partner handles the bookkeeping and they handle the accounting. Again, that's easily outsourced. You can hire bookkeeping firms, you can hire a CPA to do your taxes, etc. Shouldn't be something that you're giving up, you're giving equity up in the company or the deal to oversee. It doesn't justify that, right? So again, let's bring this all the way back to the first question, or the one and only question you should be asking yourself before you get to all the other ones. Am I partnering with someone that I could easily replace with a vendor, or are they easily replaced by someone I can hire? Well, that's a service provider, a vendor, etc. If the answer is yes, then you should be rethinking your partnership. Now, another way to think about this is let's actually define what the roles are in the investing process that are not easily hired or not easily outsourced. Number 1, finding great deals, not easily outsourced. Number 2, raising capital, not easily outsourced. Number 3, really owning the operational process at a level above just tactical on-the-ground property management, tactical on-the-ground construction management. But someone who's a true operator of real estate and can manage all of these individual vendors that actually work on a project to bring it to completion, and being able to own the decision-making process around that. There's a difference in just overseeing what people are doing on the ground and making sure that they're not, doing a bad job, making sure they're staying on track. It's another thing to have the level of experience, to have insight and comments on what types of renovations we should be doing. In which order should we be doing the renovations at the property? What should we be leasing these units for? When should we be offering concessions? When should we just be reducing base rent, etc.? How do we rebrand the property? How do we do the common areas, the exteriors? Basically making all of the key decisions. That goes above and beyond just like hopping on an asset management call every week with the property management company, just talking about vacancies and saying, all right, well, taking them on the lease that, let's, reduce the rent. Yes, there's some skill involved there, but there's much more skill in being able to drive the ship from a decision-making standpoint and being able to identify everywhere that you can improve and actually optimize in that part of the business. So again, it's the three pillars. It's being able to, find great deals. It's being able to raise the money. It's being able to successfully oversee the operations of the asset in a diligent manner and make the big decisions. And the best partnerships that I see in the business between two active individuals growing a real estate business are deal finders paired with capital raisers, and maybe they're outsourcing to property management. Maybe, the deal finder's kind of someone involved there. It could be, deal finder and true operator. Oftentimes the deal finder is going to take some ownership over the capital raising there as well. And then in really large businesses, you oftentimes have people owning each of the individual pillars. You have the deal finder who's coordinating the pipeline development and underwriting. You have the capital raiser who's working through all the capital raising and the debt and the equity. And then you have a third partner who's overseeing all implementation of the business plan. That's in large organizations. And again, you can pare this down and taper this down for what's applicable in your business. But whether or not you're thinking about bringing on a partner in your whole real estate business, or you're thinking about bringing on a partner on a deal-by-deal basis, think about those three pillars. Think about what people are bringing to the table underneath those pillars, and think about if what they are doing is replaceable, and I should say hireable or easily outsourced. And that's probably going to help you avoid getting into partnerships where there's some dissension amongst the partners, because challenges come in partnerships when one partner feels they're bringing more value than another. And that's typically where you start to see partnerships start to crack. Amongst plenty of other things, but that's a common reason is I gave this guy half the deal or half the business to just do property management when I can just hire a company at 6% to manage all of our buildings. You don't want to be in a situation like that. So long story short, if you found this helpful, let me know. Please consider leaving the podcast a rating and review. And again, if you haven't already, share this episode or share the podcast with somebody in your network if you think they're going to find some value either in this episode or in the archive or all the other episodes that we've released. And again, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.